Detroit basketball. I'm in a great mood, man. My Detroit Lions absolutely just dismantled the Jacksonville Jaguars today, 52-6. And now the Pistons got their second win in a row, and they're showing signs of growth and improvement, man. It's great to see. Okay, so let's get into it. So the Pistons get their second straight win over the Washington Wizards tonight on the road, 124-104. And they are now just one game back of 500 basketball at 7-8. Fun fact, last season, the Pistons didn't get their seventh win until, you ready? February 7th of this year. At the time of this video being made, it is November 17th. November 17th. So the Pistons this season got their seventh win in more than 2.5 months sooner than they did last year. And as of right now, the Pistons are sitting pretty in the Eastern Conference. So hear me out. I know it's early, but from what I've seen so far this season from the Detroit Pistons, this looks like a playoff team come April. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves yet, right? But once we hit the 20-game quarter mark this season, we are going to revisit this conversation. So Fonseca returned tonight from a sprained toe. Tim Hardaway Jr. is still out with a head laceration, his third game in a row. So Malik Beasley got the start. To be honest, I expected the Pistons to win this game. The Wizards came into this game with a 2-9 record, and I fully expected the Pistons to come in here, take care of business, and get out of here with a win. And they did. They got off to a quick start too. I've talked about them getting off to good starts and how many times throughout the season, this early season, they will get off to a very sluggish start and they have to call a timeout and have to regroup, right? That wasn't the case tonight. They came out with the defense, they were playing physical basketball, and they were turning their defense into offense. They were locked in this game defensively, and it was good to see that. Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, man, are getting more and more comfortable playing together. They look really, really good tonight individually. We'll get into their stats, but these two guys, man, they're learning more and more how to play together, how to play off of each other, how to adjust their game when only one of them was on the court, when one goes to the bench. They're really beginning to understand their roles, and they're getting very comfortable in this offense. You can really see it, especially playing off each other. You can really see the growth. They're understanding the game flow, and they're understanding when to pick their spots individually. It doesn't feel forced, right? They're allowing the game to kind of come to them, allowing the game flow and allowing the matchups that they have. That's what they're allowing to dictate who's the aggressor on any given play. So initial thoughts, right? The Pistons played team basketball tonight, man. They played team basketball tonight from beginning to end. So far this season, the Pistons have been in a ton of close games, right? Nail biters, down to the wire. Some they've lost and some they've won. But it always seemed like the Pistons either came back late or allowed the other team to get back into it. And that just wasn't the case tonight. The Pistons were the better team, and they took care of their business, right? They beat the team they were supposed to beat. And early in the third quarter, they really pulled away and put the game out of reach. And that's what good teams do. Good teams, more times than not, they win the games they're supposed to win. And the Pistons did that. And it was refreshing to see that. It was refreshing to see them not have to find a way to get back into a game that they should have already put away. And if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, one thing you've heard me say is that the Pistons need to play as close to 4-quarter games as possible, right? Early this season, we've seen it in games where they just have these lulls and stretches where they just are not locked in. And that's actually cost them a few games this season. But tonight, they played as close to a 4-quarter game as I've probably seen them play all season. And you can slowly see this team is starting to build good habits. They're starting to build that consistency on how they're going to play on both ends of the court, right? Defensively, they're playing together, they're moving on a string. You can see there's less and less blown assignments defensively, less and less easy buckets defensively. They're playing physical, they're playing for each other. The help side defense is there. And offensively, they have player movement and they have ball movement. Guys are cutting hard, guys are making the right pass, guys are not concerned about who's getting the shot. They're just playing for each other. So I really want to give credit where it's due, because from the beginning of the season to where this team is now, they are a much better basketball team right now. Let's get to the box. So as I mentioned, man, the backcourt for the Pistons tonight, they played great. K had a great floor game. He had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists for his fourth now triple-double of the season. 5 steals, a block, 2 turnovers, 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 for 5 from the line. This was one of K's best games of the season, easily. And just the efficiency, 10 assists to 2 turnovers. I'm always talking about this assist to turnover ratio, right? And tonight, a 5-to-1, that's pretty impressive. K was making all the right plays. He was playing under control. He wasn't forcing anything. He was taking care of the basketball. He was just very, very under control and very, very efficient. And he's been trending that way the last few games. We've seen his turnovers slowly begin to decline. At the beginning of the season, we saw him at a 7, 8, 9 sometimes, but now they're coming down to about 4 or 5, and tonight, 2. And he's had a few games where he's had 2 a game to his 10 on the plus side. So he's really showing growth. He's really showing patience. He's really showing maturity. And he's been a really good floor general these last few games. And defensively, too, he's getting after it, right? He's playing hard defensively. He's been crashing the boards a lot lately. He's been on that glass, cleaning up whatever Isaiah Stewart or Jalen Duren is boxing out, right? Going and pursuing the basketball and getting those rebounds. He's been doing that, and he deserves credit for that. Great game from Cade. Cade is currently 3rd in the league with triple-doubles at 4, with only Nikola Jokic and LeBron James ahead of him with 6 and 5 respectively. So the boy's balling. Sometimes we get on him when he needs to make improvement. When the improvement needs to be there, we mention it. But when the improvement is made and he's continuing to grow as a player, we have to call that out too, right? So tonight, he did exactly what you want to see. Running the floor, taking care of the basketball, making the right plays, and then going to get his own whenever he wants to as well. So Cade played very, very well tonight, man. He played at an all-star level for sure. Jaden Ivey, his backcourt mate, also balled out. Jaden Ivey led all scorers tonight with 28 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers on 10 of 19 shooting, 4 of 7 for 3. 4 out of 4 from the free throw line. So these guys were knocking down on free throws for the most part tonight. It was good to see that as well. But Jaden Ivey, man, Jaden balled out tonight, man. He was getting whatever he wanted. He had 2 buzzer beaters in the first half to end each quarter. One was a floater and the other was a tough glasser off balance. And he was just doing it all, right? Whether he was playing off ball with Cade and getting buckets, or whether he was running the show, making the right reads, finding the right guys in transition, running a pick and roll with Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, finding Tobias Harris in the corner for a left-handed pass, a dart right into his pocket, right where he wants it. Beautiful, man. He was playing very, very good basketball tonight. This backcourt is really showing glimpses of how good they can be together as they continue to learn how to play off of each other. This may have been the most comfortable I've seen Jaden all season. He really was playing with intention, and he looked like he understood exactly what was going on the offense and what was supposed to happen. You could see him pushing the pace, man. He was making a lot of plays on the break. He was just doing a little bit of everything tonight, man. And he's continuing to knock down that 3 ball, man. 4 for 7 from 3. I talk about it all the time. So many people are surprised by his jump in 3-point percentage. But the biggest difference outside of his work ethic and working with Fred Vincent and just working on his 3 ball, the biggest difference is just the quality in his 3-point attempts. He's getting so many open shots in rhythm now, right? In years past, when he didn't have the weapons on the court that he needed, whether it was Cade being hurt or just him being benched and playing with a different unit every single night, he just wasn't comfortable and his quality of shots were not there. So a lot of his shots will be late in the shot clock, him having to create off of his own in the one-on-one, a step back 3, and that's just not a high quality shot for anybody. But now he's getting much better quality looks. He's getting them right in rhythm, and he's knocking them down. He is knocking them down, man. So I got to give a lot of credit to Jaden, man. He's continuing to show his overall all-around ability, and he's only going to continue to get better and better and better, man. Jaden also played at an all-star level tonight, and I think it's going to continue as these guys continue to just play together and just build their confidence. It's going to be a fun season to watch these guys, man, for sure. Malik Beasley is on a heater, guys. He had another great game, man. 26 points in that starting lineup, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 10 for 16 from the field, 6 of 11 for 3. So he has found his groove. He has officially found his groove, man. He is not afraid to let him fly. In the last 4 or 5 games, he's been shooting above 40% from 3. I mean, he is just letting it fly, and he's been knocking them down. Right, he's taking these shots in rhythm. He's shooting the ball with confidence. Malik Beasley is one of the best shooters in the NBA. And I'm going to say this here. I think Malik Beasley is going to be in the 3-point contest this year. And I would not be surprised if he won it. I know as long as Steph Curry's in it, he can win it any given year. But I just get a feeling, I may be way off base, but I'm going to call it now and say Malik Beasley is going to win the 3-point contest for the Detroit Pistons in this year's All-Star game. Book it. Come back to this video later if you want. I could be dead wrong. But if I'm not, y'all gonna hear from me. Tobias Harris had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. 4 of 11 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. So a solid game from Tobias, right? He didn't play great. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Gave us almost a double-double. Right? We've talked about his effort defensively that he's been exerting, right? We got to give him credit for that. And I believe that's why his offense has been at times suffering, is because he's been exerting more effort on defense. Tonight, he gave us enough, right? All of our starters scored in double figures. Tonight, he gave us enough. He gave us tough defense, and when we needed a bucket, he went and got one for us. So I still want to see his point total go up to about 15, 16 at least on the season. But I'll take that for now in the game against the Wizards, where we don't really need his scoring as much because we've got other guys who can get it done. But not a terrible night from Tobias. Solid game overall. Jalen Duren had a double-double tonight. He had 11 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, a turnover on 5 for 8 shooting in 18 minutes. 1 of 4 from the free throw line. So he needs to get those free throws up, right? He's talked about it in the past with how he wanted to improve on last season. And as of right now, he's shooting it in the 50s. So he really needs to get that up. I think for him right now, it's just his confidence. He doesn't seem to be confident offensively, but he was definitely battling tonight, man. He was getting hacked. A ton. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. He was getting hacked a ton tonight, and they were just not calling fouls for him. So as of right now, I just want to see him continue to work on the defensive side of the ball, become a defensive anchor. He is trying. We can see that he is definitely trying. He just needs to continue to work on that end of the floor. He got in foul trouble early, but he finished strong. Jalen Duren, in my opinion, is just a work in progress, guys. He's a very, very raw basketball player, but I think for him, he needs to get back to the basics, to the fundamentals, and not worry about his offense. Just worry about being that defensive anchor that the Pistons need, that Isaiah Stewart is when he comes into the game. That's our biggest need from Jalen Duren at this time, and I think if he focuses on that, the offense will come. The offense will come, because you saw when he was engaged defensively, you would see on the offensive end, you would see Jaden look for him out of the pick and roll. You see Cade look for him out of the pick and roll just to get him an opportunity, right? So just focus on the defensive side of the ball, and offensively, it'll be there for you. Let's get to the bench. So Isaiah Stewart had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, no turnovers, 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. Isaiah Stewart doing Isaiah Stewart things, man. Right? Nothing came easy for them in the paint tonight. That's one thing you can always say about Isaiah Stewart. He has great positioning when he's in the paint. He knows how to defend and go straight up without fouling. He can even guard on the perimeter, man. He's just a very solid basketball player, man. And I love what we're getting from him. He knocked down the 3-ball too, right? So it's good to see him, you know, not totally abandon the 3-point line and still get those up whenever they're there for him, right? So he knocked down 1 or 2. So I think that's going to be where he averages, maybe no more than 2 or 3 a game tops. I think he's primarily going to be in that painted area where he belongs, and that's what best suits his skill set. But good game from Isaiah Stewart tonight. Fontecchio has 6 points, a rebound, an assist, and a steal. No turnovers, 2 of 6 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3. You guys know the story with him, man. As long as he's playing tough defense and on offense, he's just catching the ball and shooting it, I'm happy with that. And that's what he gave us tonight. Marcus Sasser gave us 7 points and 7 points, right? That's what he does. He's a bucket. He didn't play a ton, but he made the most of his minutes. He got us some buckets, and he played tough defense. So good for him. So overall, man, the Pistons came out and took care of business, man. I said in my last video that if the Pistons bring the defensive intensity and take care of the ball, that they'll win this game. And that's what they did. They defended hard. They played hard for 48 minutes. They took care of the basketball, played for each other, and knocked down shots. So now the Pistons are currently 7-8. 1 game back of 500 basketball. The only time last season they were at that mark was after game 2 of the regular season when they went 1-1. Never again at that point did they see 500 basketball. So the Pistons are way ahead of where they were last year, and they are now on pace to win 35 plus games this season, sitting at 7-8. And if we're being honest, the Pistons are basically a free throw and a missed box out away from being 9-6. This early in the season, when they're still learning how to play together and play for Coach Bickerstaff, understand the system, and having such a brutal opening stretch to the season where the first 4 teams they play were playoff teams. One of them being the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are still undefeated. So the Pistons are in good shape right now. It could be even better, but considering everything, I'm happy with where the Pistons are right now, for sure. So I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You can book this team for 30 plus wins. They're only going to get better and better, and their confidence is only going to continue to grow and grow in themselves and in each other. So what did you see in tonight's game that I missed? Let me know down below and let's talk about it. Next up for the Pistons is a home game against the Chicago Bulls, and that is another game I expect the Pistons to win. I think the Pistons are a better team than the Chicago Bulls, and I think as long as they continue to play tough defense and take care of the basketball and knock down open shots, they should win this home game as well and move to 8-8. But we'll see. And as you know, I'll be right back here post-game to break it all down. Appreciate you hanging with your boy. And as always, Detroit versus everybody. Peace. MTV and Y2K. You don't wanna see but that Y2K. Breaking records set by Michael J. Bringing glory days back to the future, Michael J. He's way ahead of his time, he's got a plan, yeah. Led off by none other than his brother Cannon. If this is more than a game, it's a passion. While they sleep, we working, cause I'm Ashton. Jade and I be on the way and kick that border ride. Electrifying through the air, a Detroit shot. And it doesn't really matter if you love him, like him, hate him. That boy is born.